PC component prices have just gone haywire. But what if there was this one small, powerful box that could be the perfect escape? Well, that's the promise of the Mac Mini M4. We're talking incredible performance at a price that seems almost too good to be true. But there's a catch, and trust me, it's a big one.
So to really appreciate why this little Mac Mini is turning so many heads, you got to look at the PC market. Just a couple of years ago, you could easily build a solid desktop, with the Core i5 and RTX 3060 for around $600 or $700. Today, good luck. With RAM and CPU costs soaring, a build like that, at that price, is pretty much a fantasy.
And then, right in the middle of all that chaos, Apple strolls in with the Mac Mini M4. And the base price? It's almost unbelievable. Just $599. On paper, this thing looks like the absolute perfect solution for anyone who wants serious power without breaking the bank. But here's where it gets weird. If this is such an amazing deal, why are places like Facebook Marketplace and eBay suddenly flooded with these exact base models? It's a huge red flag, right? It tells you that a lot of people who bought one are hitting a major wall, and fast. And the answer has nothing to do with the processor or the RAM. It all comes down to one single critical specification that turns this amazing bargain into a total trap for almost any serious user: that tiny 256GB internal drive. I mean, just look at how fast that 256 gigs completely vanishes. For anyone doing creative work, this is basically day one. You install macOS, then you install your essential tools like the Adobe Creative Suite, and boom, you haven't even created a single project file yet, and you're already in a constant battle for space. Oh, and it gets so much worse. Your Mac has this feature called swap memory, and when you're really pushing the system, it secretly starts using your internal drive as extra RAM. Now that's great for performance, but it can quietly eat up anywhere from 50 to 100 gigabytes of your precious storage, and you won't even know it's happening.
So here's the bottom line. For anyone doing creative work, coding, or really any task that's more demanding than just browsing the web, 256 gigabytes isn't a minor inconvenience. It is a workflow-killing disaster just waiting to happen. You end up spending more time managing your files than actually, working.
Okay, so how do you get all that amazing M4 power without falling right into this storage trap? Well, the answer is actually pretty simple, though it is going to cost you a little bit more. You have to completely ignore the base model. Just pretend it doesn't exist. The real starting point for Mac Mini M4, the one you can actually use for professional work, is the 512 gigabyte version. That's the absolute minimum you need for a smooth, frustration-free workflow. And yeah, jumping up to 512 gigs is going to cost you about $100 more, so the price is closer to $700. But listen, that extra $100 is the most important money you will spend. It's the difference between a machine that is constantly fighting you and a machine that you'll actually love to use. Alright, so we figured out that the 512 gigabyte model is the only one to consider. But even if you get the right storage, this machine is a very specialized tool. It is definitely not for everyone. So let's compare two classic power users, the multimedia pro who lives and breathes video editing, and the dedicated gamer. For one of these people, this machine is an absolute dream come true. For the other, it's a total nightmare. If you edit video or photos for a living, the Mac Mini M4 is an absolute beast. Thanks to its dedicated media engine, a video project it might take 10 minutes to export on a similar Windows Mini PC gets done in just 4 minutes on this thing. It just flies through creative work. But if you're a gamer, just stay away. The experience is described as a bad trip. First off, the machine runs incredibly hot, hitting 100 degrees Celsius. It's got these really weird bugs with multi-monitor setups, and your Bluetooth audio will sound all distorted unless you happen to be using expensive AirPods. So gamers are out. But what about some other folks, like a regular office worker, or maybe someone who works with 3D models? Well, the answer is still probably no. Honestly, for just day-to-day office stuff, a Windows Mini PC is way more convenient. It's just got more ports for all your gear. For heavy-duty 3D or AI work, the M4 isn't quite powerful enough, and you get way more hardware flexibility on Windows. And for coders, it's only a clear winner if you're specifically developing apps for iOS. So, let's say you're a multimedia pro. You've picked the 512 gig model, and you're ready to go. But wait, before you hit that buy button, you need to understand something important. The price on the box is not the price you're actually going to pay. And here is the perfect illustration of why. Just take a look at the back of the machine. Notice what's missing? That's right, there are 0 of the classic old-school USB-A ports. That means your mouse, your keyboard, your external hard drive, none of your existing stuff will plug in without an adapter. So you have to start factoring in accessories. Right off the bat, you're going to need a USB-C hub. That's about $40. You'll probably want a dock for your old drives, right? Tack on another $40. These aren't optional upgrades. They're pretty much essential to get the machine working with your gear. And just like that, your $700 computer is actually closer to $780. That is the true, realistic entry price for a professional setup with the Mac Mini M4. So let's break it all down. For a casual user who's just browsing the web, sure, the base model is a bargain. For the multimedia pro who's smart enough to get the 512 gig version and the right accessories, it is an incredible bargain. But for gamers or most office workers, it's a trap. A really nice looking box that's just guaranteed to give you a headache. So I'll leave you with this question to think about. Now that you know the whole story, the storage trap, the hidden costs, and who it's really for, is the Mac Mini M4 still the revolutionary bargain you thought it was?
If you enjoy this video, please like, share, subscribe, and hit the bell to the latest update from my channel. Thank you for watching till the end, and see you in the next video.